27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And there isn't one of us that doesn't want to be someplace else. This is what we do. Who we are.
Survive a war, you gotta become war.
Boom! And welcome to Rambo and Frens. I am your host, Joe Rambo. Happy Monday. How is everybody doing? I see you all piling in. Do me a favor on your way in. If you're watching this on replay or you're watching it live, the one thing that truly means the most to me is hitting that positive affirmation button on whatever platform you are on. Well, should it be YouTube? Should it be pill.net, taking the red pill over on Rumble? If you guys could hit that thumbs up, we have a streak going of almost 3 months now where we have hit the leaderboard every single show. And that is because you guys are so active in our chat. It is by no means because we are the biggest show on Rumble. It is because of you guys, period. So thank you very, very much for continuing that trend. It means the world. And if you're over on YouTube, I love you guys. I don't ever mean to ignore what's going on over there. I'm just always scared you're going to disappear. So please know that there's other platforms between my X channel, pill.net, and Rumble. Soon, 2 more to come. Keep that in your back pocket. Super secret thing going on. But today we have an absolutely amazing show. I will tell you guys, just while you guys are piling in, I have been trying to schedule a show with Sherriff Mack for like 3-4 months now, it feels like. And every single time it was either something that came up for me or something that came up for him. We have absolutely witnessed in this country, it's undeniable, a red wave as far as this 2024 election was concerned. Sure, celebrate. I'm with you. I have celebrated my ass off. But the thing is, the work isn't done. The work's only just beginning, right? So if the work's only just beginning, I would like you all to know potentially what it is that we can do to move forward within this movement. So with that being said, I'm going to bring on both of our 2 guests today, one of which just took his apron off. Let's hear from the boss himself and bring on today's guest.
I wouldn't miss a chance to talk to my friends. These are my friends.
First and foremost, Patrick Connells. What's up, buddy?
What is up, Rambo? I'm so excited about the guest you're bringing on today.
Dude, I didn't think you were going to take your apron off. I wanted to make fun of you.
I forgot I had it on. No, I have this apron. I have this apron with Walter White on it. It says, "Let's cook." Here it is. So my mother got this for me. We're big fans of Breaking Bad, but I don't make meth. I do, however, make lotion. So I've been doing that. I've been doing that for hours this morning. I'm so excited to hop off of that task and get on the task of spreading the word of liberty.
All right. We'll save the lotion. We'll talk about it at the end. We have the guest of the hour for only a limited amount of time today. So I'd love to get right into it with the one and only Sherriff Mack. How you doing, buddy?
Rambo, Patrick, it's really great to be with you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be on with you both. And Patrick, I got to tell you, I just took my apron off because I made pineapple pancakes for my grandkid this morning.
That is a
true story.
Fun pastime right there. Do you flip them in the pan for the kids, or do you use a
Right.
spatula?
Now you stir the crushed pineapple into the batter.
Oh my, okay.
A lot of it, and
Oh.
use the juice from it too. Put that.
Well,
in.
you got to send us the recipe.
No, right?
Make your favorite pancake batter and pour a bunch of crushed pineapple in it.
All over it. Yeah, I love making pancakes for children.
In the batter itself. Cook it together.
Love
Sheriff
that.
Mack, one of my favorite memories of my old man was Sunday mornings when he would make breakfast. And I never saw, like, I literally have tried it ever since. And I'm entering my mid 40s. But he would cook breakfast and there would be pancakes flying and there'd be things going and he'd be cleaning at the same time. And by the time we all got done eating, the kitchen was spotless. My mom could never do that, but my dad could.
Well, good for him. I've been known for my cooking. I don't like to clean very much, but I'll clean up after myself too, because I don't like leaving a mess. But I love doing it, and the grandkids can count on it, and I'm sure it's going to happen over the next few weeks quite a bit, because I cook on Christmas and I cook around. I usually do leftover stuff like turkey enchiladas or turkey soup or stew, stuff like that.
Good
That's
stuff.
awesome. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me ask the first question. I know Patrick has a bunch for you, but if you wouldn't mind just getting in for my audience, I truly believe my audience is like a slightly different breed than most, right? Like I know Sheriff Mack, you've done a ton of amazing interviews. I watched a bunch of them leading into this. But my audience, I do believe, sits from a different perspective than most. Could you just give my crew a basic background, where it is you come from, before we get into like the meat of the things?
Sure. Well, I'm from Arizona, and I tried to get in the FBI. My dad was a retired FBI agent, and I tried to get in the FBI, and that didn't work out. And while I was waiting to hear from the FBI, I hired on as a full-time police officer, and that was in Provo, Utah. And then after 11 and a half years at Provo PD, and I did anything and everything that you've ever seen on TV or movies, except I never shot anybody and I never beat anybody up, ever. In 20 years of law enforcement, I never beat anybody up. After I was converted to the Constitution as a rookie police officer, I dedicated myself to keeping my oath of office, to understanding the Constitution, understanding the intent of the Founding Fathers, and I moved home with that intent to my hometown in Arizona, where both my wife and I are from. We both were basically born and raised there, and we still live in Arizona, but not in the same county where I was sheriff. I was sheriff in Graham County, and I told everybody, look, I will enforce the Constitution as sheriff, and I guess everybody liked that. There was some local corruption that they wanted to get rid of. And I was new blood and I was old blood at the same time. And I hadn't even lived there for 12 years. As I said, I was with Provo PD almost 12 years. And so it was quite the miraculous election. And my wife and I never really found out why until after I was reelected in 1992. And in 1993, there came a bill promulgated by the White House and Congress called the Brady Bill. And it was the first time in history where a gun control law commandeered the office of sheriff and required the sheriffs to enforce it for free without any negotiation with the federal government. They just came in and said, you will enforce this for us or we will arrest you. And I'm not making that up. Right here is what everybody should purchase at my website. It's a little booklet, fits right. It's only 16 pages, fits in your shirt pocket, fits in your purse. Every person in America should have this book in their home, their car, or their pocket. And did everybody read that title? Supreme Court Case for State Sovereignty. I became the first sheriff in American history to sue the federal government, take it all the way to the Supreme Court, and win. Sheriff Prince from Montana also joined the case. He and I ended up at the Supreme Court together in 1996, December of 96. The decision was written by Justice Scalia, and it was a 5-4 split, but we won. And in it, Scalia said, I'm just going to take you through a history lesson here. He didn't come up with anything new. He quoted the Federalist Papers. Can you imagine a Supreme Court decision that quotes the Federalist Papers, the founders, and the Constitution itself? I think he did the Declaration of Independence once or twice too. And he said this first quote that really floored me. He quoted the New York v. U.S. case of 1992, saying, we have held, however, that state legislatures are not subject to federal direction. In other words, you can pretty much interpret that as being the federal government is not our boss. And if you look at history, you have to know that's true because the states form the federal government, not the other way around. And he clarifies the Commerce Clause and the Supremacy Clause, and he makes it clear that the Supremacy Clause, like the liars in the media and some politicians say, that the sixth article clearly grants supremacy to the federal government. That is not true. Only if and when they are doing their work pursuant to the Constitution. And that's huge because very rarely do they pay any attention to the Constitution. In fact, the greatest threat to our Constitution has been our own federal government. And I'm looking forward to this red wave changing that. But there's been red waves before, and so I'm still wondering about that. But folks, this miracle is available at cspoa.org. I have other books. This one is very cheap. There's not much markup on this. Okay, I make 20 cents a book on this, and that just pays for more. Folks, this is the most powerful state sovereignty 10th Amendment decision in the history of America. And if any of you still take orders, I order you to get this because you're going to love it. Take an order from the sheriff. Well, first of all, I have a ham and cheese on rye, but then I follow my next order and get this book because it is the Supreme Court decision that all of us in the freedom movement have dreamed about. And he even quotes, I'll quote Federalist 51. He says, hence, a double security arises to the rights of the people. The different governments will control each other. That's how a double security arises to our rights. And so now I'm the president of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. And by the way, folks, every one of you can join our CSPOA posse, and we help train you to help you work with your sheriff. And so we help each other, we bless each other, and that's really the only way we stay funded. And the sheriff is the ultimate authority in your county, and he is there to protect you from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And right now, we barely survived it, but I could go through dozens of times where sheriffs stood up to the federal government and protected the people in their county. And right now, to get all that work done that you were talking about, Rambo, the sheriffs are going to have to be involved. We have to have Trump's back, and we will have to help with the deportation if it's going to be successful and peaceful and fair.
Let me ask Joe, you mind if I ask kind of a meta question about the case in 1996, the decision from Justice Scalia?
Yeah, it came out June of 97, Patrick.
Okay.
Yeah.
The original facts of the case involved an EPA conflict, did they not?
No, not the Brady Bill.
Okay.
The Brady Bill was actually the orders that we received when we had our Sheriff's Association meeting in Phoenix. 3 agents of the BATF showed up and told us what we had to do.
All right. So you told a story at the CSPOA when I attended in the Woodlands about the EPA coming in, and you kind of.
Oh yeah. That had nothing to do with the Brady Bill.
Okay.
You want me to tell that real quick?
I would love to hear that story
Okay,
again. It was a really good.
Well, I had already filed the lawsuit against the federal government, and then we had a bridge washout. Now the sheriff's not in charge of fixing bridges. Okay, that's not my purview. That's not my stewardship. but we would maybe direct traffic if they needed that, but that's it. So the EPA and Army Corps of Engineers come in and tell us that we can't fix this bridge on the Gila River. That's Gila, Gila River. And they said, we own the river. You might own the bridge, but we're not letting you fix it until we do an environmental impact study. So the county was trying to get along with them, but 10 months later, their environmental impact study still isn't done. So they finally got so sick and tired of the federal government, EPA and Army Corps of Engineers, mostly EPA. They voted unanimously just to fix the bridge. And the EPA and Army Corps of Engineers went public with this, and they said, we are going to arrest the county commissioners. We're going to arrest all the maintenance workers. We're going to charge the county $35,000 a day. I don't know where they came up with that number. For every day they're in violation. Well, if they arrest everybody, how are they going to be in violation, for God's sakes? So anyway, I called the EPA and Army Corps of Engineers, the heads, into my office, and I said, you guys, I don't know if you've heard, but I'm already suing the federal government. They go, yeah, we know, we've heard. And I said, just so you know, I'm easy to get along with. I'm a nice guy, but you're not arresting anybody in my county. You have no authority. You're telling us that we're being charged $35,000 a day. Where's the due process on that? If you're taking our property, we have a right to a hearing. We have a right to face the charges. What are the charges? We have a right to go to court. If you're suing us, go to court. You can't just tell us we're going to pay you $35,000. You have no authority to do that either. But let me make this very clear. If you try to arrest anybody in my county, I'm going to arrest you. Well, I guess they took me seriously, because the next day they left town. And we fixed the bridge. We didn't pay a dime in fines. Nobody went to jail. And then fast forward 15 years. My son's working as a nurse in downtown St. Joseph Hospital in Phoenix. And a man comes in to visit his wife who had had a heart attack. And my son was in the cardiac unit, and they got to talking. They saw each other a lot. He asked my son who he was from, and he said, well, I'm from Thatcher, Arizona. It's southeast of here. He goes, yeah, I know it well. A number of years ago, I worked for the EPA, and the county sheriff there ran me out of town. And so Josh kind of sheepishly told him that was his father.
Yeah, that story just warms that story is chicken soup for my soul, because so many times in this info war, in this strange war, whatever you want to call it, we see people being cowed by the federal government, where the federal government has no statutory authority whatsoever.
Yeah. They're nothing. Well, Patrick, let's go over that real quickly. The states delegated 5 law enforcement powers in the Constitution to the federal government. That's treason, counterfeiting, felonies committed on the high seas or piracies, violations of treaties, and you're going to love this one. Article 4, Section 4 requires them, this is a law enforcement duty, responsibility, to protect our borders from invasion. That's it. That's the only 5 they get.
Yeah.
The rest belong to the people or to the states, and that's where the states really need to come in, and because that's the ultimate check and balance, sheriffs and states.
Sheriff Mack, this might seem like a curveball to you, but I have to give you my perspective. Okay, so you joked early on. You talked about, I think it was 20 years or however many years it was, and you never beat anybody up. Mm-hmm. I spent 5 years being a criminal, and I got beat up twice. My perspective on the sheriff, as far as before this battle became a thing, before I knew about somebody that was willing to stand up constitutionally the way that you were, my perspective as a member of society that was not doing the right things at the time, I was a victim of, I hate to play the victim card, because I made all my own decisions, right? However, I fell victim to addiction and drugs and all of the social norms that were being perpetrated against us. Okay, is what it is. My experience with the sheriffs was that they were only doormen, right? So I got arrested by the town police. I ended up in some sort of county jail. And the only time I ever saw anyone with a sheriff on their uniform was when they were transferring me from one place to another. Is that what they've tried to make sheriffs at this point, when you truly have so much greater power?
It's not a curveball at all. It's a very good question. First of all, there's a gentleman's agreement between the city police and the sheriff's office. They handle all the calls in the city limits. So I had 3 other cities that had police departments. We also provided dispatch services for them. And I run the county jail where they bring all their arrestees. And so, yes, we do transfer and transport prisoners to medical facilities or to court, or if they have to meet with their lawyer, he has to come in to us. But we do transports to go see the judge and to go to court. However, we are the law enforcement agency for all areas outside the city limits of the other 3 cities. And we can even do them inside if we want to. But the gentleman's agreement is they handle inside, we handle outside. So we have a much broader area to cover than they do. And the sheriff is the ultimate authority. And I really love it when I have that conversation with some chiefs of police and that they realize, and they said, the sheriff is the ultimate authority in the county, though. And I said, why do you say that? I said, I know that's true, but why do you say that? And one of the sheriffs, this was in Texas, right outside where we had the conference in the Woodlands. And he said, because you're the only one elected. The rest of us are appointed and we're bureaucrats. But the sheriff is the only one appointed by, for, and of the people. And therein lies his power. I said, well, you know what? That's a great historic perspective. And it was fair and honest because he was totally correct. The chiefs of police in this country, I'm not begrudging them, but I believe that there should only be a sheriff's office for the entire county. But when cities start to incorporate, they wanted the power and they wanted the money coming in from traffic tickets. And I will tell you, I don't believe in traffic tickets very much. 95% of them are just revenue generation, and I call it taxation through citation. Yep. And we've got to clean up our nose before we point at the legislatures and the judges for being the problem. Do we understand our oath of office? Do we understand the purpose of all government? Do we understand our role in preserving our constitutional republic? Then that's where we need to wipe our own nose first. And when we understand that, we'll understand the rest, and the rest will start falling into place, that we're true public servants and we serve the people and we protect their God-given rights. As per the Declaration of Independence, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men.
I want to ask a question about Maricopa County, Arizona. In Maricopa County, the famous Sheriff Joe Arpaio was ousted for what I believe to be a regime sheriff in an incredibly questionable election. That kind of puts the people of Maricopa County at the mercy of somebody I believe was not duly elected by the people. What do you say about the nature of the sheriff and the role of the sheriff in a world where the integrity of elections is completely in question?
Well, many sheriffs have been approached on that subject. And a few of them, the few criminal investigations that we've had go on across the country were done by sheriffs. Sheriff Arpaio even investigated the criminality of one Barack Obama. His posse investigated that. Barack Obama didn't even qualify for a full-time detective. He was a volunteer in the posse, but he was very professional, and I saw the entire investigation. He fabricated the birth certificate that he released. He was stupid. He should have just let it alone. But as soon as he fabricated a state document, he became a felon. And they had the evidence, and I've seen the evidence. But this whole thing about sheriffs and the power of the sheriff is key to all of this. And so Arpaio got beat by a George Soros candidate who donated over $1 million to this guy to beat Joe Arpaio. Some other people in Phoenix turned on him. Some big businesses that usually supported him and donated to him. And you had to realize that Joe was about 78 years old when he was running for his fifth or sixth can't remember which one. He was sheriff about 25 years. So it goes to reason that they didn't have to cheat on the ballot because they cheated on the funding for Penzone. Penzone, thank goodness, a year ago resigned. And now Sheriff Arpaio's undersheriff, Jerry Sheridan, who I campaigned for, dedicated my life to his campaign, he just won. And he's a constitutional sheriff. He got interviewed about that. He got blasted for being part of the CSPOA. He got blasted for being part of me. And he still won the election very big.
All right. So
he's dedicated to this. And this is the fourth largest sheriff's office in the country.
I had no idea that Penzone had resigned. Why? How did he get kicked out? That's like a huge.
He didn't know. He was in over his head. He just left. He could, and somebody offered him a bunch of money, and he took off and left very abruptly.
I even have to spotlight the Barack Obama thing even more. So many of us looked into those documents, and many of us, including the direction from Donald Trump himself, looked into those documents. And so to hear you, somebody I look up to so tremendously, come out and say that you saw them yourself, you were part of whatever. Has something potentially been done without the public being aware, or did it truly just get scattered to the wind? Barack Obama and his illegal documents.
Arpaio called press conferences, and he had the press from all over the country attend, and he showed them the same evidence.
I saw it.
Yeah. And we had him at our conference in St. Charles, Missouri, right out of St. Louis. And the investigator, what was his name? Zito? Man, I can't remember his name.
You give me 3 minutes and I'll pull the whole damn clip.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, anyway, he was a great investigator, and I got to know him very well. I haven't talked to him in about 10 years, but it was a great investigation, very thorough. But Arpaio released this to all the media. And of course, nothing happened. He tried to get somebody to prosecute it, the attorney general and the county attorney, and they wouldn't do it. And it was only because of politics. And this is what I want to tell Trump. Do not brush these criminal cases against Mayorkas and Biden and Harris and everybody else who aided and abetted illegal immigration, who committed all these crimes, the Biden syndicate family, bringing in all these millions of dollars, Hunter Biden being the fencer for all of this. He was the laundromat. He was laundering all this dirty money, and they could easily follow the money trail and convict the entire family. Jill and Joe and Hunter would all be convicted, and Joe's brother. But the biggest problem with all of that, this shows how utterly corrupt this entire thing is, because Hunter was working for a corrupt company in Ukraine, and Biden actually did a quid pro quo and said, if you don't fire this investigator, this attorney, city attorney, county attorney, whatever they call him there, if you don't fire him, we're not going to give you the normal foreign aid that we give you. And so he was fired, and they got the money. How many crimes were committed right there? How many felonies was that? They let it go. And so now I hope that Trump will bring back accountability to all these people and make sure that they know if you commit a crime, just because you're a politician or you're from Washington, D.C., doesn't matter anymore. And I want them to go after the Clinton Foundation and find out where all that money's gone. Follow the money, follow the truth, and let's have accountability in this country once again. That's what we're hoping for. That's what the big red wave was.
You guys got me fired up. I pulled a bunch of clips. Since you're only going to stay for 45 minutes today, I only have Patrick for an hour. I promise all you guys out there, what I'm going to do is play the press conference of the Barack Obama birth certificate as we exit the show after these guys get out of here today. Patrick, do you have another question for Sheriff Mack?
Did you see the name of that investigator yet?
Mike Zullo.
I'm on it. Yeah.
Mike
Zullo. Z-U-L-L.
There he is. Yeah, Mike. Yeah. So anyway, it was very well done, and the press was showing the whole thing, And of course, the press asked all the stupid questions like, do you have an in for Obama? And is this just a political thing? And are you trying to get on the cabinet with the president, the future president or future Republicans? Are you just playing to the Republicans? It was so stupid. Why don't you focus on the crime at hand? Because Barack Obama was not born in Hawaii and they're trying to cover it up.
Do you know Sheriff Joe Arpaio as well?
I know him very well. We're good friends, and he's
Yes.
92 and he's doing really well.
Yeah, he's involved in the clip that I'm going to show here at the end. Patrick, go ahead, buddy. You have something for him?
So the Penzone stuff, the Penzone just blew my mind.
Yeah.
How does a Soros, because the Penzone being in charge of Maricopa County was fundamental, in my opinion, to the steal of 2020, because in an election steal, and
He was withholding evidence.
There we go.
Mhm.
A real constitutional sheriff, duly elected by the people, can intervene in a stolen election. And so
Absolutely. And like I said, some did.
and what are the results of such things? So I want to know how much the authority of the sheriffs, in your opinion, has been stolen through the people not understanding their role, people not understanding how important sheriffs really are, and how much authority of the sheriffs can be stolen because the sheriffs are installed and voluntarily cede their authority.
Well, most of the sheriffs don't know.
Yeah.
So they don't get this thing that they are the ultimate authority. What's really great, and that's why all of you need this, because first of all, the Brady Bill itself calls us the CLEOs, Chief Law Enforcement Officer. Chief Law Enforcement Officer is a term used in the Brady Bill that we sued on, but they didn't know what to come up with. They didn't want to just say sheriff in case there were some states that didn't have sheriffs, and there are. There's 3 states that don't have sheriffs. Connecticut voted the office out 30 years ago.
Wow.
And Alaska and Hawaii never established the office when they came in. So they couldn't just say sheriff. So they said, well, we'll call him the Chief Law Enforcement Officer. Well, they delivered it to the sheriffs nationwide. They acknowledged that the sheriff in every state where they had him was the CLEO. Then Scalia, in his introduction of the case, also says the answer to the CLEO's challenge, and he's talking about Prince and me, must be sought in historical understanding and practice. So there's that history lesson he's given us here. And that's why this is so powerful, because it completely contradicts the mainstream political correctness and corruption of the day. And it says that we are the ultimate check and balance. That what did it say? Remember when he quoted 51? The different governments will control each other. That is your sheriff's job. That is your governor's job.
Mm-hmm.
That is your county commissioner's job, your county attorney. And most county attorneys don't know this law and don't know the principle of federalism, and they don't know my case. And these guys will tell. They're the legal advisor to the sheriff. And get this, folks. The sheriff only answers to you. You're his only boss. And that's what makes this really unique. And most sheriffs don't get that either. And so understand that part. You're going to start getting why you should be involved with your sheriff.
Yep. I live in Harris County, Texas. So
Oh.
that is
Sorry.
that's the county that contains we have a real beauty of a county. We have Houston, and we have Lena Hidalgo, the county judge, which is, in Texas, it's a very high authority.
Yeah, right.
We don't really so much even have a real sheriff in Harris County. Can you speak to counties that have a situation where they appear to have subverted the office of the sheriff through other means than elections?
Since there was about 600 or 700 sheriffs nationwide that stood against the COVID-19 mandates, some states and counties and others have tried to take action against sheriffs. Cuomo in New York said he was going to fire the sheriffs. Then he found out he couldn't do that, and he kind of like, oh, come on, buddy, sheriffs, you guys know I was just kidding. I wouldn't do that. And the sheriff stood up to him. And in California, we had about 25 sheriffs stand up to Newsom, said, we're not enforcing this nonsense. We're not the mass police. And so it was beautiful. And the sheriffs actually really changed American history. Sheriffs have stood up against national gun control laws from the federal government, and they've stopped it. And quite honestly, in our lawsuit, there were 5 Brady bills scheduled to be passed one after the other for 5 years. And that was going to completely wipe out the Second Amendment. Well, because of our lawsuit, Brady bills 2, 3, 4, and 5 never made it to the floor. Howard Metzenbaum introduced Brady Bill 2 right just 2 weeks after I filed on number 1. And it never made it out of committee because of present litigation against number 1. So again, sheriffs doing their job, standing for freedom, standing for the Second Amendment, standing for their oath, saved the Second Amendment. And there was only 7 of us who did that. And started all by one small town sheriff in Southeast Arizona. And that's my point. Small town sheriffs are fine. I don't care how small the department. The sheriff's office is numero uno in every county. You want to get to a good sheriff's office? Well, you already know one. You know Montgomery County. That's a good one. There's others all around Houston area and Harris County. It's great because Texas has 254 counties, and you're going to have a good sheriff nearby. You might need to move. So what? I would definitely move for freedom. I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
Yeah,
but the issue is,
so you
six
agree?
Sheriffs investigated election fraud.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, in Texas, we have a closed circuit of corruption where we have the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, which is the highest court in the land for any kind of criminal offenses, that ruled 8-1 that the attorney general wasn't allowed to investigate election fraud if the local district attorney didn't want him to. So we have issues. Dude, Texas is more screwed up than anybody can possibly imagine.
Not Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh, Pennsylvania. Oh, that's another one I was going to mention. Pennsylvania took away arrest authority from sheriffs. And
that's where I'm at, sir.
Delaware has done it. Like I said, Connecticut got rid of the office, and King County, Washington now appoints the sheriff instead of electing, and St. Charles, Missouri does the same thing. Well, so yeah, they're going after the sheriffs, but it's not nearly enough. And 90% of the states still elect the sheriff, and he is appointed only by we the people. But we really need some sheriffs to get kicked in the butt with the Constitution, because most sheriffs are good people. And if you put the right information in front of the right people, they'll do the right thing. And that's what we've been trying to do now for 25 years. I formed the CSPOA in 2011 just to make it official. But I've been doing this, training sheriffs and police officers and county commissioners and public servants of all walks for all that time. And it's not nearly enough. And we have been begging and pleading for the American people to get us funded. But I travel the country. I'll be 72 next month. And my wife and I have dedicated our lives to this. And we're not going to stop. But boy, we need more people on our posse. We need more funding. And we need to hire more people or get more volunteers across the country. And folks, it has got to be that you understand that this is in your hands. Join our posse so that we can help you join your posse with your sheriff. And if he doesn't have one, we need to create one. And if he has one, we need to make it bigger and better, because this is where we're at, and we've got to be prepared.
By the way, guys, you can go to CSPOA.org. That's the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, CSPOA.org, and look up at the top. It says, join the posse, join posse. Just click on that. Monthly membership is $11 a month. You can get a yearly membership, which saves you 25% for $99 a year. That's the membership I go with personally. And it is one of the only organizations that specifically advocates for the sheriffs to intervene and stand between them and tyrannical government, the actual purpose of a sheriff.
Well, Patrick, you know what people are going to say? Well, we have Trump coming in, so we don't have to worry about that. You guys obviously don't know what the Democrats are planning. You obviously don't know what the cartels and terrorists who have been infiltrating America for the last 5 years, you don't know what they're planning. And we've got to be prepared. We cannot get complacent here, folks. We've got to get to work. We've got to be prepared, and we've got to have working relationships with our sheriffs.
Sheriff Mack, I got two quick things for you. So I promised I would ask this question. So I want to do it just for the sake of time. I promised Curtis Good that I would ask. He said that you spoke of pulling over a lady with several kids in her car.
Oh, yeah.
She was poor stature and realized that he's not helping her by writing her ticket. He stopped the ticket and went to read his oath. Can you quickly, before we get out of here, touch on that? Because I do have one more quick question before you go.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, that was the epiphany that happened in my life that changed my life forever. And this poor lady in her car, she ran a stop sign right in front of me. I was in a marked unit, but she got so preoccupied trying to settle her children down. The inside of her car looked like hands and feet, looked like the Tasmanian devil going on inside of her car. And she lost track where she was on the road, ran through a stop sign, saw me, pulled over, and I started writing her a ticket. And that's when it hit me. Mack, what are you doing here? Are you helping this family? Obviously, she doesn't have the money to pay this ticket. It was probably like a $30 fine, but way back then. This is 1983. And I really felt so ashamed of myself. And I had the biggest case of the guilt. Why are you doing this to me? Your sergeant, lieutenant tell you to write all these tickets, so you just write this ticket without having any humanity, any compassion or feeling? And so I was so ashamed of myself. I walked away with the ticket, went back to the police department, tore it up, and I said, I want to find out why we're doing this. I want to know why we have cops, why we have government. And I ran smack in the face while I was researching. I ran smack in the face of the oath of office. And I said, I will never be on the wrong side again. I'm going to know and understand the Constitution. It is the supreme law of the land. And I will put it first in my execution as a peace officer. And that's 6-7 years later. I moved home to Arizona and ran for sheriff and ran on that premise. And I'll never forget that lady. I'd love to see her again. I hope someday I'm telling that story and she calls on the phone or she comes up and hugs me and said, that was me. I would give anything to see her again because she changed my life and she woke me up.
You know, I have a hard time not, like no one ever wants to make it about themselves, but I have a hard time not bringing my perspective in when I have conversations like this. And it wasn't a sheriff, it was a city police officer. But through addiction, I have met a lot of people. Many of them were putting me to task for the decisions that I made. And there was a time when I got to go back and see a gentleman that arrested me. At the time, I was very, very mad at. And I saw him again 5-6 years later in the train station. And I got to walk up to him and say, thank you for saving my life. And I want to say, Sheriff Mack, you brought me to that old experience because I want to say thank you for helping save our country. I think that it's parallel in a way. We've all been victimized in some way, shape, or form by the propaganda being perpetrated on this country.
Yeah.
And you've empowered everybody in the show by explaining to them the power that we have and the power that the sheriff has. If I can ask you for one more big thought, is what specifically can we, the people, do to ensure, like I'm in Pennsylvania and they are only using the sheriffs as transporters, right? I only get to ever see that name sheriff.
And where the federal government is attacking Amos Miller and other Amish people from across the country, but a lot in Pennsylvania. We've got to stand up for these people and we've got to protect them.
So what can we, the people, do? We have now been motivated, right? The Great Awakening is upon us. There's no denying it. These small podcasts that are blowing up are proof of such. So what is it that we that are rallying behind people like you and your knowledge, what is it specifically that we can do? If you could leave us with that.
Well, first of all, we need to be educated ourselves. Jefferson warned us that anyone who expects to be ignorant and free expects what never was and what never will be. He also warned us that vigilance is the price, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. We've got to be involved. And folks, the easiest way for you to be involved is with local people, your county commissioners, your city council, your sheriff. He is the ultimate protector of the people. He is boots on the ground to, just as we've been mentioning between Rambo, Patrick, and me, that he is the boots on the ground, the ultimate protector of the people. It's his job to make sure that no one is violating your rights. No one. What should the sheriff have done when Rosa Parks was arrested? He should never have arrested her. He should have sat down next to her, shook her hand, and escorted her home safely, then provide her and her family with extra patrol all through the night and the coming days. That's a constitutional sheriff. It's the same with you. But if you don't get involved, there's no way this works. We the people, the first 3 words of the Constitution, you have to be involved. Does it take very much time? No. It's easy. Let the sheriff know you want to be with him, go meet with him, and then join us, and we will continue to train you as to how to work with your sheriff. Folks, we're offering you to be part of the solution on a silver platter, and yes, we need your help. And folks, the reason I'm so adamant about that is I know American history. This won't remain peaceful and it won't remain effective if you and your sheriff are not involved in the process. So God bless you as you stand. Get up. Don't just be listening to all these great programs, and this is a great program. I love it. I talk on all these all the time. But now we have to be also doers of the word and be involved in the solution. If we're not involved in the solution, don't blame us when there is none.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Amen to that. Do you have anything else for Sheriff Mack, Patrick? Before we get
wait. One other thing, Patrick. I want you guys to get this to the Trump administration.
Okay.
So Elon and Vivek, make sure the first thing you cut is Planned Parenthood funding from taxpayer dollars. That's ridiculous. I'm not talking about how you stand on abortion. Okay, that's another topic. Taxpayers cannot be forced to pay to a private company for any service. Okay, this is not a government service. This is a private club. I have a constitutional sheriff's organization. Why am I not funded? Why wasn't Martin Luther King funded by the federal government? Because it's against the law. They can't do that. The other one is Sheriff Mark Lamb for FBI director. Oh, and then one other one. And we got to get rid of the IRS. We got to get rid of the IRS. Folks, if you don't get rid of the IRS, you will accomplish nothing of any significance in the next 4 years. We've got to start with the bullies and the unconstitutional criminals. Get rid of Planned Parenthood. They could stay in. If you want to donate to them, donate to them. But taxpayers have no responsibility to pay for that. None. Okay? So get rid of the IRS, get rid of Planned Parenthood. We're on our way.
I would personally criminalize donating money to Planned Parenthood, but I'm an outlier.
I would vote for that.
It is a criminal activity, but that's another topic.
Indeed.
Well, Sheriff Mack, only for the sake of time, I want to say it has been an absolute honor. Patrick seems to agree completely.
Yeah.
I
will come back. There's still plenty more to talk about.
I could go on for 3 hours.
To come back.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going. I'm glad that we finally got together. I don't know if you realize, but we struggled, you and I, for like 2 or 3 months in getting to figure this out. So,
well, I wish I'd come on earlier because you're a great show, and thank you so much.
My man, absolutely appreciate it. We will do it again. I will stay in contact with your people, your wife, or whoever it is, and we'll do this again. So thank you.
All right. Well, we could start doing it once a month if you want, or maybe more.
Hey, I'm in, bro. All right. My man. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Patrick. See you, Rambo. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Bro, Sheriff
What
Mack
a-
is.
what a
Why
predator.
do I keep doing these interviews where I'm like, all right, this is a cool one. I guess we'll do it. Well, a lot of people do it, and then when we talk to him, it's like mind blowing. Sheriff Mack just blew my mind, bro.
Yeah, it is. It is such an. I can't believe I didn't even bring up the book, "The Doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates" by Joseph Trujillo. So right after the stolen election of 2020, I already thought I was red pilled, right? And then all of a sudden it becomes plainly obvious that we don't even get to elect our government. That's all fake. And that's when Pat Scopoliti, rest in peace, by the way, he passed away recently. Pat Scopoliti pointed out the final body between you and tyranny is your sheriff. And that man stands between you and tyranny. And this book, it's a sermon almost, called The Doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates. It told the story through history of the lesser magistrate, the sheriff in some polities, or the Martin Luther, the story of Martin Luther and the people of Magdeburg protecting him from essentially what amounted to an angry mob known as the Catholic Church. And it was just an amazing revelation to me how indispensable the lesser magistrate is in protecting the people, because that's their real job. And I would have loved to have gotten to, okay, how do we deal with freaking stolen elections generally? Okay, fine. You get a Soros sheriff in there. What do you do about a Soros sheriff you cannot kick out with votes because your votes are fake? And that's going on. Less in Arizona, more in Texas. I'm actually more concerned about elections in Texas and states where you don't think of the elections as being rigged. So yeah, we could talk for days, literally days. But the CSPOA, I do $99 a year to the CSPOA. Guys, go to cspoa.org. It's $11 a month or $99 a year. It's worth it. The work they're doing is in my opinion, some of the only mandatory give them money type of work that is out there. In my opinion.
Amen. Yeah, I think you're 100. Hey, can I throw a curveball at you, Patrick? Well, I got you.
Please.
I love. There's a thing that I love on the show. I want to preempt it so you understand where I'm coming from. There's a thing that I love on this show, and that's that I bring a bunch of people on that don't always necessarily agree with me, right? And we have conversations that I think are wholly beneficial to the people that watch this show, because I don't just bring on people that agree with me. And so I am of this mindset where it's kind of like make disagreements great again, right? Where we can have these growth conversations and gain something as a whole in the end, where two people don't always agree. And like I said, I do it all the time. And the reason that I am thinking of it when I'm looking you in the face is, like I saw you and G Money on panels together. And man, was it entertaining for me. And I don't think that it was always received correctly by everyone. Right. And then we saw what happened between Just Human and on Badlands. And I love every three of those men. I love all three of them. I think every single person that I'm bringing up in these conversations deserves the utmost respect for their perspective and love. How do you think that we go forward in having these conversations where we're able to separate our emotions from our beliefs and have the conversations that bring us to a higher level as a whole?
Well, unfortunately, we have to do our very best to discern whether or not somebody's arguing in good or bad faith. People can be wrong and still be patriots.
Yes.
Sometimes people can be wrong on purpose for the purpose of subverting the country. And I don't think anything like that's going on with the cases that you're talking about.
None of them. Yep.
And as long as we recognize that we want the same thing, and you can't read people's minds, so you start with giving people the benefit of the doubt. And as long as they don't give you strong indications of arguing in bad faith, then you can be civil at all times until civility departs. And when civility departs, well, then it's a free-for-all. And I'm ready to rock.
Well, that's why I asked you, Patrick, because I honestly, I was sitting there watching you. I was watching you debate on panels last weekend, whatever it was, 2 weekends ago. And I was like, damn, I don't ever want to debate that dude. You are brilliant when it comes to taking the thoughts that are bouncing off the insides of your skull and verbalizing them. You are brilliant. You are. And I think sometimes when people are faced with that, they will either become emotional, angry, or whatever. And so I want to encourage everyone to not become emotional. I think that if we collect ourselves and put our thoughts together and revisit, sometimes is the most healthy way to do so. Even when we have these hard lines that we will never agree on, okay, walk away. But if ever it comes and is represented, encourage others to engage, because if 2 people come to a hard line, then 40 might be able to blur that line. And I think that's what this show and Badlands and all the other shows that I'm associated with are attempting to do. Come to a collective consciousness where we come closest to the truth. And I love that about you, bro. I love that. That's why I asked you.
I love it when I get a curveball that basically is just telling me I'm brilliant. That seems
I would
more
do
like
it to,
an underhand softball for me to just be loved on, and I'll take it. I'll take that curveball any day of the week.
I'll be honest with you. I would do it to G Money too, because to me the people,
that's just charming.
Well, because to me the people are the most important part. The people and their perspective, not winning doesn't mean shh. Except for that, I don't ever want to be a communist country. That no freedom loving nation should ever become some communist, Marxist, globalist driven, infiltrated. As long as we are ultimately coming to that same freedom loving ideal, then the conversations between patriots for me are just details amongst friends. And that's just the truth. So I would say the same thing to G Money. Full disclosure. I love people. That's all.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you briefly about an email I just got.
Okay.
Check this out. So this is from Salty Banana 1776 on Truth. And here's what he said. He said, so I went ahead and I bought some Rainfall for my daughter and myself. She has some dry spots on her face. And let's be real, it's my baby's face. We have to get that right. I have a real bad dry patch on my right foot. I haven't been able to clear it up with anything. I'm pretty sure it's eczema. It gets real red and the skin gets tight and painful. Well, I used Rainfall 4 times, Patrick, 4 times, and it's practically gone. You can hardly even tell it was there. And my daughter's face looks fantastic. Really happy with this purchase. Have already recommended it to others and will definitely buy again. Maybe one with the essential oils. Can't thank you enough. It's like magic. We'll be leaving a review online as well. Happiest of holidays to you and yours. Happy Thanksgiving, Patrick. And you know why Salty Banana 1776, also known as Joe, the reason it works like that is because it contains only virgin organic plant oils, such as evening primrose oil, amaranth oil, argan oil, rosehip oil, apricot kernel oil, oils that come directly from nature without a trace of any chemicals or anything like that. And these things have effects like removing eczema. They have effects like making sunburns disappear. They have effects like making age spots fade. It makes dead skin tumble away without a trace of abrasion. So go to tulipblooms.shop. Tulip, T-U-L-I-P, blooms, B-L-O-O-M-S, tulipblooms.shop. Use promo code Rambo for 10.
At Tulip Blooms, we believe in more than just skincare. We believe in freedom. We believe in natural products made by Americans, for Americans, using nature's finest ingredients to help you feel your best. Each Tulip Blooms product is carefully crafted with pure organic ingredients. No chemicals, no compromises, just clean, natural skincare you can trust. We know what matters to you: freedom, family, and a healthy way of life. That's why every purchase at tulipblooms.shop supports American jobs and a brand that values your freedom. Join the movement. Support a company that believes what you believe in. Visit tulipblooms.shop today. Tulip Blooms, natural skin care for patriots. Promo code Rambo for 10% off.
That's right. And every time you use that promo code, 25% of the sale goes directly into Joe's pocket, which is going to help him do this full time. That's what we want, guys. So support what you like or it goes away. Tulipblooms.shop.
Well, I know you have to get back to, putting your
my
apron on.
apron back on and crank out another 100 bottles of Rainfall.
I'm going to still, just for all you guys out there, I still am going to play that Barack Obama video about his birth certificate, which is, I love that. I haven't played it in so long. Do you want to tell people just about your new product before you go? Because I have a new sponsor I want to introduce as well, but I'm going to do that after.
Oh, you mean the castor blend?
Yes.
The castor blend is actually changing lives right now. So Ash in America pointed out to me that the castor blend, when she puts it on her face, which she does every day now, it's causing the fine lines on her forehead to disappear. Castor oil is one of those suppressed medical remedies that's cheap and it's effective, and pharma can't make a penny on it. So Ash pointed out to me, Patrick, your forehead looks good. My forehead looks good. My wife comes to me and says, Patrick, are you doing like Botox on your forehead? I said, no, I'm not doing any Botox on my forehead. I'm just pushing 50 and my forehead is as smooth as a baby's bottom. Castor oil blend. Guys, castor oil blend. And now I think we're putting sea buckthorn oil in it. Yeah. We just added sea buckthorn oil to the stuff and we're putting it into 4-ounce bottles. No, not yet. Never mind. We're almost to the 4-ounce, but we still got the 2-ounce bottles. Go to tulipblooms.shop. Put it on your forehead. Put it on your face. Put it on any place where you have severe dryness because the castor oil and the jojoba sink right in. Tea tree oil and rosemary essential oils are also in there. Amazing blend invented by my wife. And it's amazing stuff. Tulipblooms.shop.
Well, hat tip your wife. I got all of them here, and I have to hide the small versions I have down here because my girls, which there's Kim and 3 other girls in this house, they all took the big ones. So I keep these ones down here just for me at my desk.
Excellent. I'm
Yeah.
so glad. Let me know when you run out so I can get you more stuff.
All right, my man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna let you get back to doing your thing, but I'm super grateful to bro. Open door. You're always welcome.
Pleasure. Such a pleasure.
Right.
Thank you, my friend. See you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
So, how cool was that show so far? I want to show just a few more things. We have some time. I've never really gone by myself. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. So, first and foremost, I want to say thank you. Let's see. Okay, we do have some over on Pilled. So Neo gifted some shades. Happy Monday, fam. Neo, thank you very, very much for supporting me over there. I do try my ass off to pay attention to Pilled. It's hard when I got so much stuff up on screen by myself. We're getting to the point where hashtag free Rambo. We might get this thing going where I can focus on it every day, in which case Kim may start helping me to produce. Just saying. So Kim has been helping tremendously. We started to joke with Stormy Patriot Joe and Absolute 1776 and Dave from News Treason. The 4 of us started joking that we have Kim and on. The boys even made memes that changed the whole show to Kim and Friends, which is very, very funny. But I will say she's in the background helping with this show tremendously, and you guys will see that tomorrow. Kim found something that Dave and I have been digging on. If you guys saw the last show where it was only Dave and I, you saw some open-ended digs. Tomorrow will be similar with one that I don't think most of you are aware of. And it's such a large dig that I was not able to put it into a post on Twitter or a post on Telegram or Truth. This one is a show. So bear with us. I'll give you this hint. I'll tell you guys this. Elon Musk, Matt Gaetz, and Ginger Gates is not the end of the dig. There's more to it. I promise you there's more to it, and you will find it unbelievably interesting. Please come tomorrow as me and Dave are going to present what we've found and give it to you guys to help us dig on, just like we did the last time. It's going to blow your mind. I'm not giving any more because then you guys are already going to know what I'm talking about and you're going to start digging on your own. Come here tomorrow. We're going to absolutely do that thing. It's going to be awesome. So here is the new sponsor. This dude. Okay, so I've gotten. I'll tell you guys before we get into the Obama thing. This is the last thing I want to do quick. I get tons and tons and tons and tons of sponsor offers now, rather, that the show is starting to grow, and I say no to most, to be honest with you. And I talk to all of them before I decide. And this one that I'm doing today is from a dude that I've been talking to since last Friday. Talked to him again today, and I think what he's doing is awesome. Right? It's a large company with tons of reviews, but I think the dude's a patriot through and through, and what he's offering is absolutely amazing. So, Safe Streets, this dude Steve that I'm talking to, offers home protection. Right? So we're talking cameras and all of the different things that you could do for a complete home security system. Now, the cool part about this is it is completely free to install. Yes, there is a monthly fee for keeping up with the service. However, the offer for having it installed and all of the equipment, the different packages that they offer, it is completely free, all the way up to 850. And if I understood Steve correctly, they can really kind of do whatever it is that you want to do, depending on your home size and whatever might be going on. And with what we've seen with, illegal immigration and open borders and crime throughout the country, I thought that this might be a good one to present to you guys. I really, really like this guy. So that is why I'm trying this. So up to $850 value. They couldn't get rid of the install fee. This is how much they wanted to stand to it being free. They couldn't get rid of the install fee, which ends up being $99. That's how they do this across the country. So not being able to make up for the $90 install fee with the relationships with the companies that do their installations, they give a $100 gift card to make up for it. So you actually make $1 by going ahead and calling this company. So it's rambo.advancedhomepros.com. So the Rambo dot, make sure that you also support this show by doing so, but it's rambo.advancedhomepros.com. Steve has been absolutely amazing to talk to. I think that what they're doing is awesome. We're probably going to brand this website so that it's more Rambo and Frens, friendly. But I just wanted to give him an introduction for the first time here. And for the last time, that's rambo.advancedhomepros.com. Please go support that guy. And if you do so, it supports actually this show tremendously. That dude is literally giving like 60% of any installs to support this show and us going forward. # free Rambo. So love that dude. And let's go with saying thank you to David Becker. I promise you, staying with us for this. If you haven't seen it, the video on Barack Obama will blow your mind. But let's read on David Becker because we absolutely love that dude. So let's do that one quick. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? The fall is a time of year when insurance companies send out their annual renewal rate increases. For many, the high cost of medical insurance is about to get even worse. David Becker and his son Jesse of Mid-Atlantic Business Alliance are here to help you get the best possible PPO insurance coverage at affordable rates. If you think the cost of groceries has exploded, you should see what the hospitals are charging these days. Without the proper PPO protection, you could be liable for tens of thousands of dollars in the event of surgery or hospital stay. Since 1990, Mid-Atlantic Business Alliance has helped individuals and small businesses get access to nationwide PPOs, which cover both in-network and out-of-network charges in every state. Having a nationwide network like Cigna will help you keep your costs down to a minimum. If you are stuck paying for your own medical insurance, call David for a free quote at 609-577-8557 or visit www.midatlanticba.com /Rambo. Boom. All right. So, do you guys want to see what I was talking about with Barack Obama? I think that's enough thanking people that are supporting the show for today. Here is, let me get to the comments first. Are you guys picking on me yet? No? Just supporting the show? Thank you. If you could hit the positive affirmation button on whatever platform you're on, we're up to 226. We're up to almost 1,000 people watching on Rumble. We're over 1,400 watching over on Twitter. You guys have hit 33 red pills over on pill.net. I don't have you guys on YouTube pulled up, but I love you guys all just the same. Here is, look, when Sheriff Mack started talking about Barack Obama and his paperwork, did it not send you guys freaking out? Because I certainly did. This this one reminds me of Hillary Clinton, to be honest with you. So the drops start with Hillary Clinton being extradited, running, getting arrested, right? And we saw those things in like the 9/11 memorial where she had the flu, quote unquote, and got shoved into a van, and everybody kind of went conspiracy theory crazy, right? JFK was sitting in the van, or did she actually get arrested? She came back out of a hotel looking completely different, wearing different glasses. If she had the flu, how could that have happened? Medical boots, right? We can run right down the gamut of conspiracy theories. Well, when Sheriff Mack talked about Barack Obama, it blew my mind because I have been stuck on this one. This is constitutional sheriffs and such explaining to you what they found, yet nothing ever, quote unquote, happened. Nothing's ever going to happen, right? I think Sheriff Mack gave us a hint. So let's take a watch real quick. This is a 7-minute clip. We'll come back and we'll wrap up the show.
And he took a look at it. And when he called me back, he told me, Mike, I can't clear this. There's something wrong with it. And I asked him, I said, Reed, would you continue? I said, I know your position, but would you continue? And his answer to me was, this is what I do. I'll look at it. I'll do it. That's a man of integrity, respecting what his ability is to get to the truth. Because for Sheriff Arpaio and myself, this was never about Barack Obama. This is about a document. You take that document and you remove the name Barack Hussein Obama and put your name on there. If it was your document and it was brought to us, we would do the same thing with this document. This document was being investigated from the only way that I ever knew how to do it. You look to prove the guilty party innocent, the one you suspect. If you can prove him innocent, you don't put the wrong guy in jail. But when you try to prove him innocent and the evidence starts to stack up, now you change because the guilt is coming to the top. That's the way this was done. Jerry Corsi and WND. I drilled Jerry Corsi for 16 hours. This is no joke. I didn't believe anything he was showing me until he showed me one document. Everybody thinks it's the Obama document. When I said that in the past, it wasn't. Jerry Corsi and WND, they were onto something. I'm not so sure they knew it was going to go the way it's going now, but they were onto something. And what we're going to show you today is information that you have never seen before. It was information that was developed by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office in assistance with actually the gentleman who makes my videos, Mr. Mark Galar. Mark Galar has a unique ability when it comes to digital software and this whole video thing that he does. And Mark Galar and I were on a Skype call. Felt like years. We would go back and forth for years. And at one point, I did alert Mr. Galar to what I was suspecting, and we began to work at it together. What I'm going to do right now is I am going to let the video play in its entirety. Then I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to clear some things up. And then I'm going to let it play one more time, and I'm going to stop it periodically and address some things. I really want you to sit back and have an open mind, because what you're going to see is we utilized forensic document examiners, Reed Hay in Hawaii, and a company named 4Lab in Italy. And I have two different disciplines. I have Reed Hay as a document examiner, 4Labs forensic digital technicians. 4Labs trains law enforcement throughout Europe. 4Labs specialty is child pornography cases. 4Labs, everybody in that building is a PhD with math equations that, my God, I've never seen in my life. These guys know their stuff. And I'm going to tell you what I respect about both of them. Both Reed Hayes and Marco at 4Labs stayed true to their discipline. One of the tests you do when you have an expert You want to make sure your expert isn't trying to run you for the money. If I can push the expert, that's not a guy I want. These men could not be pushed. This is their findings. This is how they see it, and this is how they're calling it. So I'm going to run this video for you, and I want you to understand this has nothing to do with anything we ever did before. It doesn't negate what we did before, and I'll explain that. It is new, and it's profound, and it's quite disturbing. So let me play the video for you now, and then we'll move on.
This is undeniable, in my opinion. So what really happened?
You are looking at two long-form birth certificates from the state of Hawaii. According to the dates on the certificates, these births took place in Honolulu during the month of August of 1961, just 16 days apart. The birth certificate on the left belongs to Barack Obama. The birth certificate on the right belongs to Johanna Ani. After 5 years of intense investigation, which included consultation with one of America's most respected forensic document examiners and a team of European media forensic experts, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office has reached a conclusion utilizing forensic techniques both old and new. It is the opinion of the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office that the birth certificate on your right
Maricopa, you say?
Ani was in fact used as a source document in the digital creation of Barack Obama's long-form birth certificate. 9 points of forgery in which words, letters, and hand-placed date stamps have been digitally copied from the Ani long-form birth certificate and pasted onto Obama's long-form birth certificate. We'll look at the first 5 points of forgery together, since they were brought over from the Ani document in one group. Now let's drop out the Ani document as a background and view that again. Now let's look at the date stamps in box 20 and 22. In this case, the stamps were brought over one at a time. But as we do this experiment, ask yourself, what are the odds that two stamps in two separate boxes, stamped by hand 16 days apart, would have the exact same angle in box 20 and the exact same angle in box 22? First, we'll look at the left stamp. Now the right stamp. It should be pointed out that these stamps were looked at by two separate document examiners who specialize in two separate forensic disciplines and who reside on two different continents. Both agree that these angles are identical on both the Obama document and the Ani document. Let's watch that again without all of the background clutter. It should be noted that Susan and Gretchen Nordijk were born 5 minutes from each other and have consecutive serial numbers. Therefore, their date stamps ostensibly would have been put on back to back. But as you can see, looking at the leftmost date stamps underlined in red and looking at the rightmost date stamps underlined in blue, there is no similarity in terms of the angle of the date stamps. How ironic that Barack Obama's birth certificate and Johanna Ani's birth certificate, which were stamped 16 days apart, are identical in angle, according to two separate disciplines within the world of forensic document examination, and yet the Nordijk twins, born 5 minutes from each other, stamped back to back, don't show any similarity in angles. We've made a number of references to angles so far. The reason for that is if you're going to take an item off of one document and place it onto another.
So I'm going to do what I always do and hurt people's feelings. You guys have all heard me talk ad nauseum about Barack Obama and intentional messaging. If I could have a third term, I'd sit in my basement and I'd have an earphone and I would tell the current puppet president what to do. And it emotionally attached the mass majority of the public to go ahead and believe that Barack Obama and the belief system of the current public, which was that he was a traitor, renegade, and I am of the belief that at least the second 4 years of Barack Obama were a captured presidency. He did multiple things that literally set up the operation that we watched take place from the 2016 election that Donald Trump won, that they never thought he could win, right? The drops told us straight up that he was given certain assurances, is the word that the drops use, certain assurances that he would win. And then Donald Trump went ahead and he messaged to us that the 2020 election would be stolen. They were using COVID to steal the election. And then we were told that they wouldn't let it be stolen again. And what happened? It was about as big a red wave as we've seen in decades. And Donald Trump went ahead and won. I am not sure I can make all of those data points connect on a level that doesn't seem coordinated, not in my head. So, do I think that we've seen the last of Barack Obama? Well, the drops tell us straight up that he's going to seek Kenyan citizenship to get away from being prosecuted or arrested or however it states. I'm going off the top of my head. Do I think that we've seen the last of Hillary Clinton? Absolutely not. Do I think that Doge being made in 2015 and now it's literally being propagandized as the Department of Government Efficiency, as we saw multiple state agencies with boarded up windows and DC being shut down and National Guard and barbed wired fences and being inaugurated 1 minute before he was supposed to, and then 17 executive orders being signed on day one and green screens and sound stages, while Donald Trump came out early in 2022 and told us about the pause, which seemed to line up very specifically with the drops telling us we had to be shown, not told. Do I think that's all a coincidence? It's impossible. It's impossible. And here's my, not to go on a rant before we get out of here, but I don't quite comprehend how people can get so distracted by the shiny things and the details. And this person was, World Economic Forum or red flag laws. And I mean no disrespect to those that are questioning. We should question. I agree with you guys. Question it all. I've lived my life that way. The only reason I'm in this position is because I've never taken anything that was ever told to me as truth. I had to find out on my own. And those came with a lot of hard lessons, but it also put me exactly where I'm sitting today. So go ahead and question. But when you take that step back and look at everything from a 40,000 foot view, I'm having a very difficult time not looking at this as anything less than coordinated, right? How's the drop go, right? Note the past 2 years, note the next 6 years. Patriots in full control. You were told the battles we face, right? So I think that that's where we're at. I don't know that Barack Obama was a good guy. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. However, I do believe that his second 4 years were at bare minimum captured by the white hats. And I think that what these constitutional sheriffs proved in his birth certificate were potentially part of that. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll see. It's pure speculation, but I believe that it's logical speculation. So we'll see. Okay, wheat. I should be reading some of these as I'm over here ranting about insane things. I absolutely love you guys. I have already released the scratching over on Pilled. If you guys didn't see, go ahead and go over there and scratch yourself and get some pills. Please come hang out tomorrow's show. It is going to be a banger between Dave and I. I'm going to be on very little sleep as I'm about to get up and go to work right now. But we will be back out here. Check out Stony Patriot Joe. Check out Absolute 1776. Check out Dave from News Treason. Go support every one of the other guests that have been on the show. Feisty Cat, I hope to have her on here again soon. SSG, JF and on Smart Paul. We are going to have an ultimate lineup of shows that are going to continue. I appreciate all you guys out here. Let me go through the Rumble rants real quick before we bounce. Boom. Curtis, good. You were just going on and on with the $2 Rumble rants. I'm so glad to see Sheriff Mack live. I missed his episode in Eye of the Storm. I met Sheriff Mack in person in Dallas in the 1990s. His testimony of his turning point in this constitutional oath. That's really cool. Curtis Good also with a $2 Rumble rant. He spoke of pulling over. Oh, that's the one we read to him. Thank you very much for that. Curtis Good, another $2 Rumble rant. Rambo, I now live in Woodlands, Texas. Ask Sheriff as to when he spoke in the Woodlands that he and Patrick are referencing. Thanks. I apologize that I didn't see that while he was still here. I promise you I will stay in contact with Sheriff Mack, and we will absolutely do this again. I live in Montgomery County, Texas. Curtis Good. You're not that far from Patrick. So when he spoke of this, I choked up a lot of onions in the room that day. God bless you, sir. Thank you, Curtis. I will pass the message on. I'm in capos.org now and doing a yearly subscription. Also, Curtis, thank you very much. I know I saw at least somebody that wasn't Curtis today. Where was it? There you are. Layla's Nana, $20 Rumble rant. Rambo, you do just fine on your own. Thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, podcasting on your own is not very easy to just speak on your own. That's why I look up so much to Red Pill 1776. He is an absolute beast at this. He's been doing it for a long time. That's why I watch his show, because he teaches me every day that I watch. So I highly encourage anybody out there to go ahead and follow your dreams. I hope that you understand why I put the sponsors up here. It is to have the ultimate goal of being able to give all of my time to what it is that we're doing here. Bring on all of these amazing guests. You guys have helped me catapult this thing to a level that I never would have expected. And I hope that we continue that trend and keep moving forward and getting all of these amazing people on here to talk and go through these different things that we can do to help continue to save our country. So with that being said, I will see you guys all tomorrow with Dave from News Treason, who is quickly becoming one of my new partners in the movement. And we are working on a dig that you guys are not going to want to miss. I promise you that. So I will see you guys all tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, here on Rambo and Frens. Much love. See you then. Hold on. I got to fix that. Did I say 1776? I was thinking of absolute. Genuinely. Okay, I owe him. Look, I've already spelled his name wrong once. I'm not going to end the show that way. It is Red Pill 78. I was thinking of absolute 1776. I'm an idiot. Thank you, Jane Lee, for correcting me. God, what a moron. All right, I'm going to do it again. Love you guys. Bye.